Hey world, it's your girl Nina Love. Thanks for being here. This is my regular Wednesday video podcast or video log. And every Wednesday I sit down, talk about some topics. Hopefully it's uplifting. Sometimes I feature, like last week, I featured my best friend and she talked about some of the things she's overcome to get to where she is today. And I love people's stories. It's such a beautiful thing because everybody can relate in some way or form to others' hardships and other people's joys and triumphs. So don't be surprised if one day I ask you to be in front of my camera. I absolutely love people's stories, and it makes every part of life so unique when you meet people and hear their story. So thanks for being here. Turn me on while you're driving to work, or while you're at work, or if you're cleaning the house. You can turn me on, listen, and I would love to hear your feedback. A lot of times people hit me up. I've somehow on my blog become some type of overcoming heartache girl. People who have a difficult time getting over heartache look to me for advice on how I've done it so quickly. And I can't say that every day is easy or that I'm good at it, but I do know I do bounce back, because what I want and what I choose every day, I have to consciously make the choice to be happy, because there's so much that I'm grateful for. And no matter what has happened to me, or how my heart has been broken, or how I got married and divorced twice, no matter what, I still have so much to be grateful for. And so I live with gratitude in my heart. And sometimes I do need a pep talk. So I'm grateful that my cousin came for my birthday, and holy moly, her tiny little self just always finds a way to kick me in my rear end and set my mind straight again. And so I'm always grateful for people like that in my life who can give it to me raw, but still be constructive and offer suggestions and solutions on being better. So hopefully when you watch my videos, you feel some kind of way and that you're uplifted, and feel hopeful again about life and love. And the hashtag I always use on all of my posts is usually hashtag I still believe in love. And it's actually, I believe that is going to be the title for my novel. It's supposed to be released this month, but I think I'm going to take a different path, and I am going to submit it to a publisher. And if it gets rejected, at least I'll get their feedback. And then from there, if it doesn't get published, I will self-publish it. But I would love to get their feedback. And actually, a dear friend of mine put me in touch with the publisher, which is why I think I'm taking that route. So anyway, today's topic that I selected out of a lot of different topics that were suggested to me, I wanted to talk about how women are in relationships. And we tend to be, at least for myself, I tend to be a giver. I'm a giver. You ask for something if you're in relationship with me, you ask for something, I will bend over backwards to make sure you have it. And that's my style. That's who I am. And I watched a motivational video this morning of Lisa Nichols. She was describing her journey on becoming wealthy and funding her dream. It's such a great. I posted it on my Facebook page at Love Nina Love. I'll also post the link here as well, so you can click it down below. But I was so inspired by what she said, and what she said was that you need to take care of yourself first. And I absolutely, in hindsight, seeing and having been through 2 marriages and 2 divorces, I absolutely now have learned the lesson that me, Nina Love, have to put myself first. So you tend to lose. Let me just speak from my point of view. I lost myself in both marriages. This is me looking back on it. I lost myself. I forget what I want, and I sacrifice the things that I want to be in relationship, to be in the marriage. I gave up so much of who I am or who I was so that I could maintain the marriage. I don't know. Well, I do know. It is probably cultural conditioning as well as religious conditioning that made me feel like my voice was not valued, or that I should just follow the male and let him dictate everything. So I would say it's cultural conditioning and religious upbringing that made me feel like my voice wasn't important enough. And I don't blame anyone. It was never said to me that my voice wasn't important. But somehow, from upbringing, I felt like my voice was not important. So learning to put myself first is something brand new to me that I am just beginning to implement. And this is 43 years of not putting myself first. And I know, I mean, it's a habit of 43 years of always giving, and never being on the receiving end. That I wouldn't say I've never been on the receiving end, but in relationship, in my marriages, I was always giving. At least that's how I felt. That's my point of view. That's my perspective. They might have something else to say, but I'm just talking from my point of view. So in your trials, in what you're trying to do, go ahead and put yourself first. And I know we hear it all the time, and it sounds so easy, or it sounds just so cliche. Like you hear it on the airplane. This is the perfect example everybody uses, that on the airplane, they say, put on your mask first in the case of an emergency before helping someone else. And it's true. It is true. In order for us to give, we have to be full. So I read somewhere or watched a video somewhere where they talked about the cup overflowing. The cup overfloweth. So if you're running low, your cup is low, there's nothing, everybody else gets what's overflowing. Your cup has to be full before anybody else gets fed. So everybody else should get the overflow. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. Think of a cup. Everybody else should get the overflow and not keep scooping from your cup until you're empty. Anyway, so it's something I'm learning, brand new. And in typical Pacific Island upbringing, even though these words were never said to me, as a single woman, I should be at home with my family. I should be with my father, or, living with my family. But here I am in South Carolina by myself, and doing me. I put myself first. I said, I am going to go there and I am going to follow my dream. I'm going to isolate myself and get this novel done. And that's what I came here to do. That's what I'm doing. And I feel very happy and joyous that I put myself first. So whatever's happening in the mind, when you put yourself first and you treat yourself good, everybody else around you will treat you the way you treat yourself. So think about that. I'm not good at it, I'm telling you. And my closest friends and family know. They're telling me all the time the same thing. But it's something I'm starting to practice. So there's two other points that I want to talk about also in terms of putting yourself first. So once you're practicing putting yourself first, whether it's getting a massage once a month, or getting your nails done. I mean, like for a long time, throughout my whole entire marriage, my second marriage, I never did my nails. never did my nails. And I loved my first marriage, my nails was always done. My second marriage, I never did my nails. And since me and my ex split, my nails are always done. That's something I pamper myself with. If it's my last dime, I will go and get my nails done for real. So that's one way I pamper myself. This past March, I went to my class reunion in Las Vegas and had a blast. Me and my BFF, we went. That was one way for us to pamper ourselves. I'm not balling out of control. Absolutely not. Some months I'm scraping by. Most months I'm scraping by. And it was something I wanted to do. It was something I was saying, I'm important enough to do this for me. So that's what I did. That's the way I'm practicing pampering myself. So the second point I want to make in this journey towards how I overcome heartache and how I'm beginning to value myself more, hear my voice more, is that I let go of negative mindsets. Now, letting go of negative mindsets is such a broad topic, or such a broad rule or lesson to say, but if you look at it in a small manner, let me give you an example. When my mother passed away, I felt very regretful that I wasn't a better daughter for her. So there are so many things that came to mind that I fell short as a daughter for her. And I felt so much guilt upon her passing about not being the best daughter I could be. So a couple days, the day after she passed away, I went to, she passed away at Castle Hospital in Kaneohe, Kailua, Oahu. The next day, I went to Pounders Beach. Pounders Beach is not really one of my favorite beaches. It's a beautiful, beautiful beach, but usually I go to Kakela's, which is right next to Pounders on the other side of the rock. But that, for some reason that morning, I went to Pounders. And I got to Pounders. It was the most beautiful sunrise. I think I have the picture somewhere. I'll post it also. Beautiful sunrise. I sat on the beach. I closed my eyes. The sun was rising. It was beautiful. The waves, the ocean, the sound of the ocean and the birds flying over the ocean, the breeze blowing in my face, the sun on my skin. And I cried. I cried and I apologized to my mother. And the first thought that came to my mind, it felt like she was talking to me herself, was that she understands me and that there's nothing to forgive because I was the perfect daughter for her. That it felt like she was saying that she only looked at me with compassion, that she wasn't looking at me like, you see, you didn't do this for me and you didn't do that. That's what it felt like. She was not that. In my head, I thought that's how she would be. But what I felt her spirit, and I felt like she was hugging me and telling me that there's nothing to forgive because you were a good daughter. And that all she felt was compassion for me. And that she knew my weaknesses. Now in the great universe, wherever she was, she knew my weaknesses and she only saw me with compassion. So I let go. I let go of that guilt of feeling inadequate and not being the best daughter that I thought I should have been. And I let it go. So that's what I mean by let go of the negative mindsets. There are things in our lives that we feel guilty for. For instance, a couple videos ago, I talked about how I was such a bully to this one particular girl in the 3rd grade. It was the 3rd grade, not the 2nd grade, but I was very mean to her. And I carry that around with me. But I don't carry the guilt anymore that I felt, because there's no way for me to go back to the 3rd grade and fix whatever negativity I rippled forward into the universe by being so mean to her. There's no way for me to take that back. So what I can do and what I choose to do every day is to move forward and treat people with kindness. I got rid of the guilt, got rid of that negative mindset so that I could move forward without all of that baggage. I am still very sorry for what I did, and I'm still very careful in terms of how I treat other people now, especially the way I wish I was a better daughter to my mother. I wish I weren't a bully to that particular girl. I let go of the negativity surrounding it. I let go of the guilt. And I move forward with a compassionate heart and with kindness. And I try all the time to treat people better, to be kind and compassionate to anybody and everybody that I meet. So, what was the first thing? Put yourself first. Second, let go of the negative mindset. Really, it's like let go of the guilt surrounding anything you feel guilt for. Let go of it and turn it into a positive. And then finally, rejoice and embrace your good qualities. So many of us walk around not knowing how fantastic we are, or not recognizing and rejoicing in all of our goodness. We are taught, at least I was, to be modest, to not brag, not boast, but why? Celebrate it. Like, I remember I posted a couple of months ago about a post about I am pretty. And where I came up, you're culturally and socially conditioned to not be pretty. Like you don't say you're pretty. You don't walk around saying I'm so pretty. And I look back and think of how limiting that mindset is, and it's so silly to think that it's better to celebrate or to know all of your bad qualities and not celebrate your good qualities. So every day I write in my journals. We know I write in my journal, and I talk about my good qualities. You know what? It was so difficult in the beginning to say, oh my gosh, I did this today, and then I'm so fabulous at this or whatever. It was hard to talk about those things, talk about myself in that way, in the way that it's uncomfortable for some of us to go to a job interview and boast about ourselves. I don't have that problem anymore. I don't boast about myself, but I know my value and the many skills and talents I've been blessed with. And so I rejoice in those things. I continue to grow them and develop them because I'm good at it. I'm good at writing. I'm good at flowers. I'm good at graphic design. I can say those things. I do play the piano. Sometimes I like to sing. I don't like to sing the way I used to like to sing. My voice ain't the same, but I love to sing and I love to play the piano. And, these qualities that before I would shy away from, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know. People would ask me to play the piano and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to. As a Pacific Islander, you didn't have a choice. You just did it. And I don't shy away from it anymore. If somebody asks me, yeah, I can do that. Yes, sure, I can do that. And I celebrate and rejoice those things. Like if you're good at putting on makeup, rejoice in that. Develop it. Go somewhere. If you're passionate about it, go somewhere with it and do something with it. If you're good at hair, my mother was excellent at hair. She used to have wigs around the house, and people would come over and she would perm their hair or cut their hair. She was good at it. She was great at it. Celebrate it and develop it and see where it goes. So that's my message today. That we as women, or any of us, all of us, that we should put ourselves first, pamper ourselves, whatever it is. Second, let go of the guilt. Let go of the negative mindset. Let go of the guilt. And then finally, celebrate. Celebrate everything good about you. It could be you made this beautiful child. You could be a good baker. You bake everything for everybody, which, it's anything. Anything that you love about yourself, that you're good at, that people keep asking you about, celebrate that and rejoice in that and celebrate you. And I just love this new me that's coming into all of this, that's learning how to put myself first and all of these things. I love it. And I hope you do too. And I hope you feel uplifted, and I hope you share your stories with me, because I would love to tell your story. If I could get you in front of the camera, I'll let you tell your story yourself. But I would love to tell your story. So I hope that you learn and grow and practice doing these things and putting yourself first and rejoicing in yourself. It's your girl, Nina Love. See you next week. Have a great week, y'all.